Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese had their debut matchup in the pros, which, by the way, was overshadowed by one moment in the second half. And it seems like this has happened a few times. Clark took a blindside cheap shot from Chicago's Chennedy Carter, who had some not so safe for work comments right before it happened. Now, Carter, by the way, was only assessed a regular foul for this play and refused to answer any questions about Caitlin Clark in the post-game presser. But no doubt the questions will and should be continued to be asked.
Do you remember the exact moment last summer when a single shoulder sent a shockwave through the entire WNBA? Cameras locked on Chennedy Carter the split second she veered off her defensive path, cocked her frame, and blasted Caitlin Clark across the lane like a freight train. For a heartbeat, the arena went silent, then the crowd erupted. Social media detonated, and every highlight reel from ESPN to TikTok froze on that collision.
Foul, which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Chennedy Carter.
It was supposed to be a routine June matchup, one more game on a long rookie grind. Instead, it became the play shown in barbershops, dorm rooms, and boardrooms, a grainy 4-second loop that mutated into a referendum on envy, physicality, and how women's basketball treats its rising stars. 9 months later, Carter finally speaks.
And it looked like Chennedy Carter has finally broken her silence about this Caitlin Clark situation.
But what she says and what the footage shows are worlds apart, and tonight we're diving headfirst into that gap. Let's rewind. The league was buzzing last spring. New TV deal, sold-out arenas, record jersey sales, and in the middle of it all, the sharpshooting superstar from Iowa lighting up scoreboards and turning casual fans into die-hard Fever devotees. On the other bench sat Carter, a pure bucket getter whose career had already ricocheted through drama in Atlanta and locker room smoke in LA. She landed in Chicago looking for a restart. For 29 minutes that night, everything felt ordinary. Picks, slips, Clark curling off screens, Carter pulling up in the mid-range, until play 64 when the fuse ran out. Carter scored, Clark jogged past, a handful of words flew, nobody's mic picked them up, and then the hit. Clark sprawled, the crowd gasped, whistles blared, officials huddled, and just like that, a common foul morphed into a flagrant, and a basketball game became a culture war. Now, fast forward to this week. Training camps are 7 days away. Every marquee free agent has inked a deal, and Carter is still scrolling her phone waiting for a call that isn't coming. She jumps on streamer Neon's channel, ring light blazing, hoodie up, trying to look relaxed, and starts to give her side. According to Carter, it was just smack talk. Just a love tap, maybe a little payback for an elbow nobody else has found on the footage. She says, "I'm here." She says it happens every night in the NBA. She compares it to Jeff Teague shoving LeBron out of bounds. In that single breath, she downplays the force of the shoulder, shifts blame to Clark, and paints herself as the misunderstood competitor who thrives on hate. Chat explodes. Heart emojis rocket across the screen, but the comment section is not buying it. Because the tape is brutal. High def, slow-mo, 60 frames per second, brutal. You see Carter finish the jumper, you see her glance left, you see her mouth something that definitely isn't good game, and then you see her change her angle purely to find Clark's torso. When she hits, Clark's feet leave the floor, her ponytail snaps sideways, and the crown-molding echo of shoulder on rib drifts up to the rafters. That is not NBA style "I'm here, bro" contact. That is premeditated delivery. The officials saw it on the replay in 90 seconds, upgraded the foul, and the league office sent the memo the next morning. But here we are, months later, and Carter's story is growing extra vines. First an elbow, then a scream in her face, then the media twisted it, depending on which podcast she's on. What's wild is how the league's context has flipped around her. While Carter live streams excuses, Clark is signing sponsorships, fronting feature spreads in GQ, and pulling 30-footers in preseason scrimmages streamed to 500,000 devices. WNBA's social accounts can't post fast enough. Teams want in on that gravity, and front offices are asking one cold question: do we want a 6-foot marketing magnet or a 6-foot lightning rod? Carter can still drop 17 a night. Nobody doubts her handle, her step back, or her first step, but a coach has to trust that a post-game interview won't overshadow the win column. And right now, trust is in shorter supply than cap space. Let's talk history, because context matters. Carter's rookie year in Atlanta was electric on the floor and combustible off it. An indefinite suspension in 2021 for conduct detrimental detrimental to the team cracked the facade. Teammates leaked stories of verbal blow-ups that pushed film sessions into shouting matches. Los Angeles bet on redemption, but insiders whispered about late arrivals, missed meetings, friction with veterans. Chicago gambled again when they rebuilt around Weatherspoon and the big rookie class, and for a stretch it looked stable. Then came Shouldergate and stability shattered like a backboard in a high school gym. In her stream, Carter says it spiraled out of control. She blames troll culture, mainstream media, the highlight hunters who looped the hit until it became the only thing some kids know about her game.
I'm pretty sure you've seen the clip. You seen the clip or no?
Which one?
The little clip where I bumped somebody, the little clip.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you know, that's trolls happen, man. They're gonna be there.
I know. I
But
didn't
listen,
want to bring it
let
up
me
because
tell
I
you
didn't know
this.
if you were talking about it.
If
but-
they not, I knew. Listen, I knew it was coming.
She might have a point about virality. We live in a world where a 4-second clip outranks a 4-year resume. But here's the part she keeps missing. NBA vets who pulled questionable plays from Draymond to Rodman survived because they owned the moment. They faced the mic and said, yeah, I crossed the line, then pivoted to what they'd do differently. Carter hasn't crossed that bridge. Every word she says floats an alibi. I was frustrated. Clark talked smack. Refs missed the elbow. Everybody does it. Fans forgive mistakes. They struggle to forgive excuses. You can feel executives recoiling in real time. One anonymous GM told a reporter they wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole. Chicago didn't even extend a qualifying offer, letting their leading scorer walk for nothing. That's unheard of in a 12-team league starving for firepower. You trade talent, you stash talent, you don't evaporate talent unless the off-court variables feel radioactive. Carter's camp argues her phone isn't ringing because teams fear the PR fallout of looking anti-Clark. Maybe, but sources inside multiple front offices say it's simpler. They're afraid of the culture hit. They've built chemistry like Jenga towers. One shaky block and championships crash. Meanwhile, Carter's narrative pivot is whiplash fast. Remember the presser where she smirked and asked reporters what Clark does besides shoot threes? Last night on stream, she called Clark a great player, like LeBron great. That's not growth. That's desperation cologne sprayed over a month's-old sweat. Viewers smell it. The chat keeps spamming clown emojis whenever she says great player. And as unfair as that flood of ridicule might feel, she invited it by refusing to plant her flag and say, I messed up. There's a deeper question humming beneath all the hot takes. What kind of league does the W want to be? It's one thing to promote physical, emotional rivalries. Fans love that. It's another to let a player who blindsides a rookie star shrug it off like parking lot contact. The league is negotiating TV rights on the back of Clark's rising Q score. Protecting her isn't just fairness, it's business. And that business trickles down to teammates' bonuses, to charter flights, to rookie salaries. Carter's shoulder didn't just hit Clark, it jarred the league's bottom line. In that light, 30 GMs might pass on MJ himself if he threatened the revenue curve. Listen, nobody wants Carter to fail. This is a player who averaged nearly 18 a night, who has a first step that snaps ankles, who once dropped 24 in her second professional game. Talent like that makes the league better. But professional sports is a trust economy masquerading as a highlight show. Coaches have to trust you'll rotate on defense, trust you'll show up for shoot-around, trust you'll face the mic and protect the locker room. Shoot 50%, lose the trust, and you're still on the couch. Shoot 40%, earn the trust, and somebody will keep you around for 10 years. Carter could change the story tomorrow, literally tomorrow, by owning the moment with 2 sentences. I overreacted. I'm sorry. That's the playbook. We've watched stars from Ron Artest to Draymond Green do the mea culpa, serve the suspension, and slide back into rotations because accountability taxes are payable in full. Instead, Carter is paying interest. Every interview, every quote tweet, every little tap reinforces the idea that she's allergic to responsibility. Teams look at that allergy and see a locker room outbreak waiting to happen. Let's zoom in on Clark's response because it matters. She never milked the hit. She got up, tightened her ponytail, sank free throws, and kept hooping. No flopping, no flailing arms in the ref's face, no post-game whining. That stoic response amplified the hit's ugliness. The league could package her resilience as a selling point. Come watch our new superstar handle pressure like a vet. And by extension, Carter's hit turned into the negative space around Clark's halo. One play made 2 brands, but only one benefited. There's also the generational echo here. Kids who saved up last season to buy Clark jerseys also saw Carter's shoulder and asked, is that what happens when you shine too bright? Parents noticed. Broadcasters noticed. The WNBA isn't just basketball, it's a movement riding momentum built on accessibility and relatability. When a veteran blasts a sophomore for no basketball reason, the risk extends to every 8-year-old girl dreaming of a breakaway layup. Carter might call that narrative hype, but the emotion driving ticket sales doesn't care. Now let's talk numbers, because numbers slice through hype. In a 12-team league, you've got 144 standard roster spots, maybe 156 if teams keep hardship exemptions. Of those, roughly 40 guard slots exist. Every summer, 30-plus rookies and overseas vets chase those same spots. If a GM has to choose between a 17 points per game scorer with baggage and a 10 points per game rookie who's low maintenance, the math factors salary, potential, and headache index. Carter's salary demands plus negative optics push her into the red column on too many spreadsheets. She could be the first player to lead a team in scoring one year and watch YouTube highlights of training camp the next. In the interview, Carter says she feeds off hate, that every boo fuels her. That might be true on the court, but front offices read that line as "I might ignite drama." It reminds them of the post-game report out of Chicago, where she allegedly tried to fight Courtney Williams after a halftime argument. It reminds them of the indefinite suspension in Atlanta. Patterns mean more than single mistakes. Talent is potential. Patterns are projections. So where does she go from here? Overseas options always exist. Turkey, Russia, Spain. She could drop 30 a night in the EuroLeague and wait for a W front office to roll the dice next spring. Or she could sign a training camp invite at league minimum, swallow pride, share touches, show growth for 6 months, then cash in. But neither route works unless she first kneels to the altar of accountability. The W isn't punishing her just for a foul, it's punishing her for refusing to say foul play. That difference is everything. I keep thinking about that LeBron comparison she pulled out. You don't compare someone to LeBron because you respect their jumper. You compare because of impact. Clark is that impact. Networks schedule doubleheaders around her. SeatGeek crashes when her away games drop, and Carter's shoulder check is now a cautionary tale told in marketing meetings: protect the star, protect the surge. Until Carter demonstrates she's part of that protection and not the threat, she might as well be playing in hologram form. Still, redemption arcs sell. Sports fans love the comeback story almost as much as the undefeated run. If Carter steps up this week, posts a no excuses apology, reaches out privately to Clark, the narrative pivots overnight. You'll see think pieces titled, "Should a team give Carter a second shot?" You'll see vets tweeting props for maturity. The window isn't closed, it's just fogged by pride. But windows don't stay open forever. Training camp rosters lock in 72 hours. After that, overseas is the only exit. And what about Clark? She keeps her head down, grinds film, and lets the league handle the politics. That's textbook star behavior. She answers once, "It's over, we're moving on," and the mic moves on. Every time Carter speaks without accountability, Clark gains another watt of halo light, and the WNBA's promotional engine hums a little louder. That's not fairness. That's simply how spotlight economics work. Carter's shoulder made Clark a sympathy magnet, and Carter's denial keeps the magnet charged. Hands are split, of course. Scroll the timeline and you'll see Carter defenders argue Clark needed a welcome to the league bump, that the men's side dishes harder hits nightly. They forget the context. Carter's was off ball, post play, blindside, and accompanied by toxic pressers. The league doesn't mind hard fouls, it minds brand damage. There's a difference, and that difference is why Carter remains unsigned. Imagine, though, a different interview. Carter looks into the camera, voice steady, and says, "I was wrong. I lost my cool. Caitlin didn't deserve that, and the league deserves better from me. I've apologized to her privately, and I'll spend this season proving I've learned." Clip that to 30 seconds, tweet it, pin it, and watch front offices perk up. Trust restored? Not overnight, but doubt would thaw. Right now, the freeze is total. Because here's the iron law. Talent opens doors. Character keeps them open. Carter opened plenty with that wicked crossover and fearless rim attacks. She's the only player her height who